जो गिरकर भी दोबारा खड़ा होता है उसी का हौसला तो चुनौतियों से भी बड़ा होता है। नमस्कार फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू हेडलाइंस ऑफ द डे। इन दिस वीडियो वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस इंपॉर्टेंट हेडलाइंस ऑफ द हिंदू एंड आवर फर्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट हेडलाइंस आर पॉलिटिक्स। Zero tax for annual income up to 7 lakh under new scheme. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana share rises by 66% with more focus on tier 2 and 3 cities. They are available on page number 1 and ye related in paper 3 economy section se. In these articles we have to know about the announcements and highlights of the budget 2023-24, objectives and implications for various sectors. So friends, Union Minister of Finance presented Union Budget 2023-24 recently and she listed 7 key priorities of the union budget, and these are inclusive development, reaching the last mile, infrastructure and investment, unleashing the potential, green growth, youth power and financial sector. And capital investment outlay increased for the third year in a row by 33% to 10 lakh crore, and this accounts for 3.3% of the GDP, right? And agriculture credit target would be raised to 20 lakh crore with a focus on animal husbandry and fisheries. Now let's look at the other major announcements. So friends, Union Finance Minister announced 66% increase in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. She also announced that those earning up to 7 lakh a year need not to pay any income tax under the new tax regime. And this year's budget has also proposed certain amendments to the Banking Regulation Act, Banking Companies Act and Reserve Bank of India Act to improve banking governance and enhance protection of investors. An Atmanirbhar Clean Plant program will be launched to boost availability of disease-free, quality planting material for high-value horticultural crops. Urban Infrastructure Development Fund will be established through the use of priority sector lending shortfall, which will be managed by National Housing Bank. Entity DG Locker to be set up for use by MSMEs, large businesses and charitable trusts to store and share documents online securely. 500 new waste to health plants under Govardhan scheme to be established for promoting circular economy. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana 4.0 to be launched to skill lakhs of youth within the next 3 years, covering new age courses for Industry 4.0 like coding, AI, robotics, 3D printing, drones and soft skills, etc. An Agriculture Accelerator Fund to be set up to encourage agri-startups by young entrepreneurs in rural areas. Sickle Cell Anemia Elimination Mission to be launched. And National Digital Library for Children and Adolescents to be set up for facilitating availability of quality books across geographies, languages and levels and device accessibility. And Green Credit Program to be notified under Environment Protection Act to incentivize and mobilize additional resources for environmentally sustainable and responsive actions. And this year's budget allocated 5.94 lakh crore for the Defense Ministry, which is a 30% increase year on year from last year's budget estimates. And Department of Space expenditure has been slashed by 8% in the 2023-24 Union budget. Baaki other points clear friends, you can go through these articles. Our next important headline is judicial majoritarianism justified? It is available on page number 12 and here related to paper 2 polity and governance. In this article we have to know about judicial majoritarianism and what is at the heart of the debate. Now what is judicial majoritarianism? So friends, numerical majorities are of particular importance to cases which involve substantial interpretation of constitutional provisions. In such cases, constitutional benches consisting of 5 or more judges are set up in consonance with the Article 145 of the Indian Constitution, and such benches usually consist of 5, 7, 9, 11 or even 13 judges. This is done to facilitate decision making by ensuring numerical majorities in judicial outcomes, right? Baaki other points you can go through this article. Our next important headline is what is the government's new policy of UPI for NRIs? It is available on page number 12 and here related to paper 3 economy section. In this article we have to know about the government's new policy of UPI for NRIs. So friends, National Payment Corporation of India paved the way for international phone numbers to be able to transact using UPI, and now non-resident accounts such as non-resident external accounts and non-resident ordinary accounts having international numbers will be allowed into UPI payment system. Theek? Our next important headline is Odisha may prove to be a first mover on PVTG development mission. It is available on page number 15 and here related to paper 1 population and associated issues. In this article we have to know about Pradhan Mantri, particularly vulnerable tribe groups development mission and objectives and needs. So friends, recently Union Finance Minister announced to launch the Pradhan Mantri, particularly vulnerable tribal groups development mission in order to saturate their families and habitations nations with basic facilities. ठीक, बाकी other points you can go through this article. Our next and last important headline is India US step up strategic ties with tech plan. It is available on page number 18 and here related paper to international relations. In this article we have to know about bilateral relations between India and US, recent developments and future prospects. So friends, recently India and US held inaugural dialogue of the initiative on critical and emerging technologies, which seeks to build supply chains which increase co-production and co-development between the countries and increase linkages between both the countries' startup ecosystems. And two sides also announced a set of programs whose aim is to increase the depth and scope of bilateral cooperations in cutting-edge technology, including defense sector. Right? So friends, आज के लिए इतना ही. Thanks for listening. For regular updates, you can follow us on various social media platforms.